This morning, Sydney Police closing in on the whereabouts of a kidnapped grandfather. The new operation to find Chris Bagzarian. Serious consequences, the proposed penalty for anyone caught helping ISIS brides get back to Australia. Breaking news in the US, the Secret Service shoot dead a man at Donald Trump's private estate. Plus an ultra Aussie holiday, a new tourism campaign kicking off today.
Live across Australia, this is Sunrise Early News.
Good morning. Sydney Police have scoured bushland in northwestern Sydney, not far from where they've been hunting for kidnapped grandfather Chris Bagzarian. Tactical officers and police cadaver dogs were seen in Glenorrhea on Sunday night. Officers have been hunting as far up as the Hawkesbury after Mr Bagzarian was taken 10 days ago in a case of mistaken identity. Police have linked a burnt-out car to a Dural property where the grandfather was being held. Anyone who helps the so-called ISIS brides return to Australia would face criminal prosecution under a bid from the Coalition. Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke says the government has limited options to block the return of 11 women connected with ISIS and their children being held in a Syrian camp. The Shadow National Security Committee is putting forward a bill which would make it an offence to facilitate the re-entry of individuals linked to terror organisations. It would carry a maximum punishment of 10 years in jail. Sydney Police are asking for help finding a psychiatric patient who's gone missing from a medical facility in Westmead. This is a picture of the 25-year-old who had approved leave from Cumberland Hospital 2 days ago but didn't return. He's known to frequent the Marylands area. Cumberland Hospital is under scrutiny after the escape of 2 patients in recent weeks who were allegedly involved in a fatal stabbing and a fatal car crash. Some breaking news from the US now. The Secret Service has shot and killed an armed man trying to enter Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. Live now to US correspondent Rob Scott with all the details for us. Rob, how did this unfold?
Good morning, Eddie. Well, it was about 1:30 a.m. local time when police say a white male, as they're describing him, had somehow managed to breach the secure perimeter outside Donald Trump's private resort at Mar-a-Lago in West Palm Beach. Secret Service officers and the local sheriff's deputy were sent to investigate. They found the 20-year-old at the northern entrance. They say he was holding a shotgun and a jerry can of fuel. They confronted him, ordering him to put both of those items down immediately.
He put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and the 2 Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized the threat. He is deceased at the scene.
Now, Donald Trump, who we know survived at least 2 assassination attempts in 2024, wasn't even at Mar-a-Lago last night. In fact, he wasn't even in Florida. He was hosting governors at a dinner at the White House. Police are now looking into this suspect's background, trying to work out his potential motives. They're also asking residents who live near Mar-a-Lago to check their security cameras for any suspicious activity. Eddie.
Thank you, Rob. Queensland's Deputy Premier is demanding to know why police delayed publicly revealing information about a horrific anti-Semitic attack on Brisbane's oldest synagogue. A 32-year-old suspect reportedly rammed into the synagogue's front gates and has been charged with willful damage as a hate crime. The attack happened on Friday night but wasn't reported until 10 o'clock the next day. A local council in South Australia is determined to get tough on e-bikes after a young boy was badly hurt in a collision at Moana Beach near Onkaparinga. The 5-year-old was riding a push bike when he collided with 2 girls on an e-bike at speed. He suffered a serious head injury. The local council is calling for stronger regulations on e-bikes that can travel faster than 10 kilometres an hour. A $1 million reward is now on the table to crack one of Melbourne's most chilling cold cases. 25-year-old Harula Kipiradu was brutally bashed, strangled and dumped in a jammed lift in Richmond's Commission Flats. Police are making a fresh appeal for answers in the 1981 killing that shocked the city. A British nuclear submarine has arrived in Australia for a month-long visit as part of the AUKUS Pact, but there are fears we're being watched. A Chinese bulk carrier appeared off the coast as the sub docked at a highly sensitive Perth naval base.
The British nuclear submarine HMS Anson has just completed an 18-day transit from the UK to Western Australia, all of it underwater. When Anson surfaced off Fremantle this weekend, it would have sailed straight past the Chinese-flagged bulk carrier Yu Zhaofeng. The Chinese ship is just a couple of kilometres off the increasingly secretive and sensitive Stirling submarine base.
Protective security, both physical, visual and electronic, is incredibly important.
The Chinese have become increasingly interested in Australia's military capability, shadowing naval exercises here and abroad. Like the Russians, the Chinese are suspected of equipping civilian vessels for intelligence gathering.
You start losing the secrets to the acoustic signature of the boat or the technologies that the boat uses, and that is a very, very significant breach and vulnerability for any nation.
AUKUS is the mutual defence pact between Australia, UK and the US. HMAS Stirling is at the very heart of building Australia's own nuclear submarine capability and will be instrumental in maintaining nuclear subs from all three nations.
These fast attack nuclear-powered submarines, with their stealth, their endurance and their weapons capabilities, are the apex predators of the ocean.
And of obvious interest to our enemies. HMS Anson will be tied up at Stirling for a month. There have been questions asked in some quarters as to why the boat is here when it should be in home waters where military tensions are rising. As they are rising in our region too. Jeff Parry, 7 News.
We're checking Monday's weather now. Brisbane a shower or two and 30 degrees. Sydney a possible shower or so 30. Canberra shower 2, 31. Melbourne mostly sunny and 23. Hobart partly cloudy 22 degrees. Adelaide sunny 29. Perth sunny and 31 degrees. And Darwin couple of showers and 32. Well, Aussies are being encouraged to holiday up north with a new campaign spruiking a trip to outback Queensland as the area slowly recovers from really devastating floods in the region.
It's wide open for adventure.
It's where dinner puts up a fight.
And it's your round for new stories.
The campaign is being launched today by the Australian and also the Queensland governments. Looks great. The latest revelations about the former Prince Andrew next on the Sunrise Early News, plus big changes for Australians heading to England, what travellers need to know, and an 800-year-old skeleton going on display to the public for the first time, why these bones are so special. We have some breaking news. An activist have infiltrated the Louvre in Paris, hanging up a picture of the former Prince Andrew taken in the hours after his arrest. Live now to Europe correspondent Jacqueline Robson. Jackie, what's going on with this stunt?
Oh, Eddie, that photo that went global of former Prince Andrew slumped in the back of a car leaving a police station has now been hung in the world's most famous gallery. Activists for the group Everyone Hates Elon pulled off the prank today, much to the amusement of tourists who were there at the time. But the seriousness of Andrew's alleged misconduct is really setting in for some parliamentarians who are now calling for a treason probe to be set up. They want to investigate the ex-Duke of York during his time as UK trade envoy. Royal author Andrew Morton has written about Andrew. He says this is a disaster for the monarchy just because it will just go on and on. He says police will likely want to speak to ex-wife Sarah Ferguson due to her financial ties to the convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
The first thing I would have thought Plod would have done would have been look at the money trail. The Fergie borrowing money from Epstein, the paedophile. But this crisis is, I think, outdoes the lot because there's no end in sight. There's no cut-off point, as there was with the abdication, as there was with the change of the family name. This will rumble on for years.
Now, police are continuing to search Andrew's former home, Royal Lodge, here at the Windsor estate. The Sun newspaper, a UK tabloid, claims to have a source to have heard Andrew as he was kicked out. He apparently said, "I'm the Queen's second son. You can't do this." Eddie?
Thank you, Jackie. Australia will do everything possible to avoid new global tariffs being imposed by US President Donald Trump. He's introducing a 15% tax on US imports from all countries, including Australia, after the Supreme Court ruled his previous program illegal. Trade Minister Don Farrell says he's working with the Australian Embassy in Washington, D.C. to examine all options. Iranian university students have launched enormous new protests on their first week of term. Thousands of people gathering on campuses across the country in opposition to the government. They're calling for the return of their exiled prince and the mourning of the deaths of protesters last month. Major changes for Australians heading to the UK are nearly here. From this week, travellers will need authorisations to visit or risk being stopped at the airport. And different rules for dual citizens is causing mass confusion.
Lucy Aylwood is counting down to her next holiday.
A bit of a Europe trip in June this year, so really excited. Probably will be for about 4 weeks.
But before she boards the plane, there's paperwork.
I need to renew my British passport.
The dual national is preparing for new travel requirements, which the UK is introducing, claiming to improve security and speed up immigration checks.
At the moment, there's lots of confusion. We've seen a lot of people, unfortunately, have to cancel the trips.
From February 25th, Australians will need an ETA before travelling to the UK. It costs about $30, takes 3 days to approve, lasts for 2 years and lets you visit for up to 6 months at a time. And if you don't have one,
you won't be allowed to board the plane. Pretty simple.
Dual citizens will need a valid British or Irish passport, or you can travel using an Australian passport with a certificate of entitlement. That costs a whopping $1,100.
It lasts you for a lifetime, so you only have to do it once. And that might take between 4 and 6 weeks.
The changes could catch out some Australians who might not realise they're automatically British. Citizenship can be passed down to children born outside the UK. That means to travel you'll need a certificate of entitlement or UK passport, even if you've never held one.
British nationality is actually quite complex. If you think you might be British, go online, gov.uk.
To avoid being caught out at check-in. Georgia Holland, 7 News.
The bones of Christian St Francis of Assisi are going on public display for the first time to commemorate 800 years since the friar's death. The Franciscan order, started by St Francis, is showing his remains. They're expecting at least 400,000 people to make the pilgrimage to their convent to pray. The skeleton will be available for viewing for just the next month. Well, after the break on Sunrise Early News, a concerning health setback for music guru Molly Meldrum. And Hollywood stars judge Australian filmmakers the triumphant return of Tropfest, and we reveal the winners next. Brisbane drivers are facing a surge in dangerous debris on the highways. Data revealing 6 crashes a day are caused by flying projectiles like runaway tyres and unsecured loads. 340 dangerous lost load incidents were reported across Greater Brisbane in the first 7 weeks of 2026, a 13% increase on the same time last year. Almost 2,500 incidents were reported in 2024, a 65% rise on the year prior. A major outback rail line that connects Adelaide and Perth has been closed after heavy rain and flash flooding. The downpours washing away sections of the Trans-Australian Railway, and it could be out of action for at least a week. Floodwaters stranded more than a dozen people on Sunday, with roads in South Australia's north closed. Up to 75 millimetres of rain in 24 hours has flooded the Flinders Ranges. And a major rescue operation has unfolded in Mount Isa as floodwaters rise across central Queensland. 7 people were pulled from the Leichhardt River just after 5 o'clock on Sunday evening. Lake Mundara is spilling over its dam wall for the first time in 15 years, while Cloncurry is bracing for up to 20 millimetres a day for the next week. Queensland detectives have charged 2 men as they investigate a horrific fatal crash on the Bruce Highway last week. Police charged a 49-year-old and 36-year-old from Redcliffe with theft, driving and weapons offences. They allege the men were involved in scrap metal and copper thefts at Narangba. Police allege a stolen truck was travelling in the wrong direction at Burpengary before colliding head-on and killing 26-year-old Andre Roberts. The men will appear in court on March 16th. Music guru Molly Meldrum has suffered a health setback. He's had recent challenges but is said to be recovering now at his home in Melbourne. A source close to the 83-year-old has told 7 News he's fine, happy and comfortable. A suspected stolen car has caused a trailer destruction in a residential Melbourne street. 2 men escaped on foot after an out-of-control Volkswagen drove at high speed through front yards in Wollert before hitting a median strip and crashing into 2 parked cars. Neighbours say it's amazing no one was injured during the carnage. Police are asking anyone with information to come forward. An Australian breakthrough in 3D printing is set to open a new frontier for construction underwater work. The company behind it says it's world-leading technology with a big impact expected for our waterways.
Like a concrete sausage being squeezed out underwater, this is touted as the future of marine construction.
It's a game changer for the future.
3D printing in water using a top-secret concrete mixture that doesn't disperse or need moulds or formwork.
It is the first in the world where we used seabed sand and salt water without adding chemicals.
The breakthrough by Melbourne-based Lewiton 3D and University of Wollongong researchers could construct pier pylons, wharves, bridge girders and floating wind farms, plus help protect internet fibre optic cables on the seabed and defence installations like hidden submarine stations. They say it's cheaper and faster.
It is ready for full-scale real-life deployment.
Australian engineering coming to the global stage again.
Another option, printing artificial coral reefs.
To increase the marine biodiversity where it's being lost.
We don't use chemistry that could be harmful.
4 years in the making, it's from the same company that made a 3D printed double-storey home in Wyndham Vale.
Australia seems to be the leader for sure, and it gives us the comfort level we were looking for to make this kind of investment.
That's building the nation faster, smarter, and at a better value.
Paul Dowsley, 7 News.
Hollywood elite like Margot Robbie, James Cameron and Sarah Snook have helped judge Sydney short film competition Trop Fest. It's back. The star-studded judging panel saying how impressed they are with all the local talent.
The winner of Trop Fest 2026 goes to a film that we thought was absolutely pitch perfect. Crescendo.
The cheers drowned out the winner there, but the $50,000 prize went to Crescendo, directed by Sydney-based Leanne Maxey. Second place was hospitality thriller We Don't Take Breaks, directed by Jasper Sharp. And third place went to the Christmas drama Silent Night, the filmmaker promising to get Margot Robbie in their next film. That'd be a coup. Also to come on Sunrise Early News, the dream Winter Olympic debut for Aussie teen sensation Indra Brown. Brock Feeney starts 2026 off in style with 2 first-place finishes in Sydney, and a closer look at how the weather's shaping up in your part of the country. We're checking sport now, and Australia's teen sensation Indra Brown has signed off on her debut Winter Olympic campaign with an impressive 5th-place finish in the free ski. The 16-year-old faced a tough climb up the leaderboard after her opening runs, but saved her best for last, sticking a clutch 3rd run to surge into the top 5. South Sydney looking red hot heading into round 1 after Wayne Bennett's full-strength side thumped Manly 30-6 in Mudgee. David Fafita impressed in his first run-out for the Rabbitohs that former Titan was back at his best. And Brandon Smith was all praise for the Bunnies and the role they played to help him bounce back into the NRL.
I'm very blessed that I've joined this club because, you know, I was going down a dark road and thankfully, you know, I'm on the way out.
New Manly halfback Jamal Fogarty was kept quiet in his first game. A fresh 2026 era for Brock Feeney, putting last year's heartbreak firmly in the rearview mirror. The Ford Mustang driver made it 2 wins from 3 races at the Sydney 500. Feeney had to overcome a rough battle through an early cool suit failure in Sydney's really humid conditions over the weekend.
It's pretty hard. In the first couple of laps, I'm like, man, I'm getting heated. My body was getting hotter and I could feel the tubes just warming up my body. I had nothing left there at the end.
Feeney shares the championship lead with Matt Payne on 259 points, with Cam Waters in third. We're taking a quick look at the weather around the country now. Low in the centre of the nation will edge south, taking flooding rain with it across much of the region. Showers and storms will scatter across much of Victoria and parts of New South Wales and Queensland's east, also the tropics. A high will keep Western Australia's south dry also for SA and Tasmania. Quick check of the capitals: Brisbane a shower 2 and 30, Sydney possible shower 30, Canberra 31, Melbourne 23, Hobart 22, Adelaide sunny 29, Perth 31 degrees, Darwin shower 2.